Today we will learn about the best ways to deal with chemical risks. Our personal and professional environment is changing, and we need to adapt the way we work. This is especially true for workers handling corrosive or irritating chemicals. In this video, we will look at the right behaviors to adopt when working with chemicals. We will discuss the different types of chemical risks, prevention against chemical risks, how to spot the danger and how to protect yourself from it, frequent cases of contamination, how the danger generally presents itself, and first aid, the PAR rule and intervention protocols. We will start with the different chemical risks. First of all, the risk of inhalation. Breathing a chemical product can lead to irreversible sequelae, or even chronic diseases in the short, medium or long term. Next, there is the risk of ingestion. Absorbing a chemical product generates an internal chemical burn and multiple complications. This often requires surgery. Finally, there is the risk of a chemical splash or contamination to the eye or skin. Being splashed with a chemical product in the eye or on the skin can also cause serious sequelae. Whether you work in production, a laboratory, in maintenance, in water treatment or in warehouses, how can you know if a product is dangerous? The easiest way is to first check if a chemical product in a bottle, a canister, a tank or a container has a pictogram indicating its corrosive or irritant character. The label or packaging of this product contains the same information but in greater detail. Finally, you will also find the relevant information in the description of your job sheet, product sheet or safety data sheet. A series of recommendations can help you to protect yourself from contact with chemicals. There are a number of good work habits that will be the subject of future videos. For example, to reduce the risk of inhalation and ingestion, it is important not to smoke, eat, drink or chew gum near a chemical. Collective protective equipment is the first barrier to consider in order to reduce the risk of contact between chemicals and operators. There are different types. We often find shields, protective screens between the operator and the chemical product. Frequently, fumes are evacuated through fume extractors or fume hoods. You will reduce the risk of possible contact with chemicals by dressing properly. Make sure your jacket, trousers, shoes and boots are closed completely. Do not wear scarves or ties and keep your long hair tied back. Clothing should be made of cotton, not synthetic fabrics. For eye protection, safety glasses are essential. Eyeglasses do not provide reliable protection. They should not be considered as safety glasses. Contact lenses are generally not recommended as they make decontamination difficult. For people with vision problems, there are safety glasses adapted to vision or overglasses compatible with your glasses. Finally, for certain tasks, the visor is recommended. It reduces the risk of contact. To protect the hands, the material of the gloves must be compatible with the nature of the chemical used. There are nitrile, vinyl, neoprene and latex gloves, but you have to pay attention to possible allergies. If in doubt, you can simply turn the glove inside out and apply a chemical product to observe the resistance of the glove over time. Naturally, the thickness of the gloves must be appropriate for the task at hand. If the gloves are too thick, dexterity is lost and there is a risk of poor handling. This was an example of inadequate PPE. Sometimes the protective equipment is defective and leads to risks. For example, a hole in the gloves, no matter how small, leaves a surface that can be contaminated. The same goes for gloves that are too short or rolled up. The part between the wrist and the sleeve of the clothing has to be covered by the gloves. When wearing boots, the trousers cannot be put inside the boots. The liquid chemical can run down the trousers and end up in the boot. Safety glasses should also protect the eye from a possible drop from the forehead. Sometimes the working conditions are restrictive. They can provoke or prevent gestures and reflexes and thus generate serious sequelae. If it's too hot, it's tempting to open the suit a little around the neck or even across the torso, or to raise the visor. When we are splashed, we have the reflex to turn our head. Thus, you can expose yourself to a lateral contamination, whereas the visor would have protected your face from a facial projection. Did you know that we touch our face about 250 times a day without realizing it? Touching your face with a glove that has residue on it is dangerous. Touching door handles or any switch with a contaminated glove puts not only the worker at risk, but also their colleagues. While removing the work suit, it is important to be careful not to contaminate yourself with the outer surface of the suit. These small gestures or reflexes concerning the wearing of personal protective equipment can have serious consequences. It is up to you to make sure you are always protected. Despite all these precautions, there is no such thing as zero risk. It is possible that you will face a chemical contamination. How to act in this case? Follow the PAR rule, that is, protect, alert, rescue. Start by protecting the accident area to prevent further accidents and overexposure. For example, shut off the leaking pipe or straighten the spilled drum. Then alert nearby colleagues and call the internal or external emergency number. Make a simple, clear and precise report with the following information: I am, I see, I do, I require. Finally, rescue. Remember to protect yourself before providing assistance. This way you avoid cross-contamination. Wear all necessary PPE. There are different cases of splashes. The intervention protocols are different for each type of accident. In any case, you must start rinsing as soon as possible with the available rinsing solution and respect the recommended rinsing time. It is also recommended that you seek medical attention once decontamination is complete. In case of eye splashes, you must check for contact lenses and remove them if possible. If there is a solid chemical in the eye, inspect the eye to see if there is any residue left. In this case, you must prolong the rinsing. In case of splashes on the skin, undress while continuing decontamination. Remove any jewelry or clothing. Clean unwashed areas starting from top to bottom. Do not attempt to remove a garment if it is melted or stuck to the skin. And finally, contact a doctor. Finally, a splash with a heated corrosive or irritant presents a double risk. It can cause both chemical and thermal injury. In addition, the heat will increase the reaction capacity of the chemical and thus accelerate the development of the chemical injury. Therefore, the first priority is to eliminate the risk of chemical injury by decontaminating with the appropriate washing solution. Continue treating the thermal burns according to the protocols in place in your company. And finally, seek medical attention. Thank you for your attention. For more information, the entire Prevor team remains at your disposal.